The captain fell asleep at 30,000 feet. When he woke up, he sensed something was wrong. The plane had somehow ended up over the Pacific, and the fuel was almost gone. Even worse, when the captain checked the navigation instruments to calculate their coordinates, he realized the plane had drifted far off course. He immediately instructed the radio operator to contact the base tower for help. To their surprise, they heard Japanese voices on the line. Frightened, they quickly shut off the radio and switched to Morse code for communication. They also had to lighten the plane as much as possible before the fuel ran out completely, so the bombardier dumped all the bombs into the Pacific. Then the captain recalculated their coordinates and adjusted their course. After flying for 10 more minutes, the fuel was nearly gone. In a critical moment, the captain ordered everyone to quickly grab the survival kits and prepared for an emergency water landing in the Pacific. The impact was severe, causing heavy damage inside the cabin. Water began pouring in relentlessly. The captain didn't dare waste a second and pushed open the cabin door to escape, but they hadn't even grabbed the survival kits before the plane sank rapidly. The life raft was extremely cramped, so the men lay as close together as possible. The night ocean was freezing. 3 grown men shivered violently, holding each other tightly to keep warm. At dawn, the captain organized everyone to take stock of their supplies. They had 1 pistol, 2 magazines, a small knife, and a 25-foot nylon rope. There was no food. They endured their hunger and barely made it through the first day. At night, the captain was parched, so he used a shoe to collect a cup of homemade beer. By the next morning, they still saw no hope of rescue and had no idea where they had drifted. The captain estimated their location based on experience: 1,000 miles from Samoa, 6,000 miles from South America, and 1,900 miles from Hawaii. The nearest Phoenix Island was under Japanese occupation. Luckily, about 600 miles toward Samoa, there was a small island. But drifting there naturally was nearly impossible because the wind at sea was unpredictable, and they had no way to determine their direction. Driven by survival instinct, their first priority was finding food. The sea was full of fish. They just needed a hook. Will had a sudden idea. He emptied a magazine, took out the spring, straightened it, and tied it to a cotton line. He made a fishing hook out of wire and used a piece of red cloth as bait. Although the chances of catching a fish were slim, he couldn't wait and threw the hook into the water. Fortunately, a fish actually took the bait. But when Mike pulled hard, the fishing line snapped. It seemed the fish in the water were hungrier than they were. By the afternoon, the scorching sun made it impossible to keep their eyes open, so the 3 of them covered their heads with clothing to prevent further moisture loss. They had gone 2 days and nights without food. The sunset was beautiful, but it offered them no comfort at all. By the 3rd day, their skin was burned red, even blistered, yet they still hadn't caught a single fish. By the 5th day, their bodies had reached the limit, and the last bit of strength they had was nearly gone. Will was the first to give in. He decided to drink a small sip of seawater to quench his thirst.